Hello, hello! Bl'Art here with Steps Severe, the Vayne intersecting Wills Shinryu fight. We're bringing a team of Charlotta, Vayne, and Yang, and oof, that was ow, that hurt. Jesus Christ, calm down, calm down. Anyway, before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, ring that notification bell. We're going to be into a fun little ride here. You can see from the video length, this is going to be short and sweet. So what do we got going on here? We got Arden and Golbez. I actually really enjoyed the story chapter, or I guess the cutscenes for this, the story of this intersecting wills. I recommend going back and watching it if you haven't already. Then again, Vayne and Golbez are two of my favorite characters, so there you go. So what do we got going on here? We have Vayne. He is back, baby. Vayne, one of my favorite characters from Lufania Plus, is back, and I think he's actually pretty good. Having played around with him, he's actually in a pretty solid spot. I know he, I think, suffered from a lot of anti-hype because Terra and Tidus already exist, and it's been talked to death about, here and elsewhere, about, how that's kind of a false equivalency and not how you should be evaluating the unit. But I actually think he kind of stands on his own 2 feet pretty well. That force bonus that he gets during his FT is pretty impressive, as you're going to see. So the reason we have Charlotta here is, A, because she's just really good in general, but B, she serves 2 really helpful roles. One, she's a gauge charger, so you see we spammed our skill 1 and EX a bunch to get the gauge nice and high. And 2, her burst effect is just really good. It's going to be helping Yang consistently cap the entirety of this fight. And that's kind of a thing that Yang needs a little help with, just because of the lack of refunds between hits on his follow-up. So he and Vayne are going to be capping like crazy. Now here's something nifty. I want to shout out Eamon, who he and I have been having a fun little back and forth in our Discord about this team and stuff. But if you burst with Vayne, use his burst effect, right? And then LD with Yang, that's the setup you want to get going on. Because as you're going to see, it's going to make a big difference in the force time over time. So we'll be getting there in just a moment. Before we do, though, we're going to go ahead and get some charge on. Going to get a free, just a free Yang follow-up from the Raijin base call. And hey, we even get a free Vayne follow-up attack from that. And let's go ahead and Crystal Ray. There, Charlotte is doing her job being an Aurabot. God, she's so versatile. DPS, Aurabot, general support, what a great character. But anyway, this isn't the Charlotte show, this is the Vayne show. And so we're going to go ahead and use Godslaughter. What an awesome name for a move. Can I just say that? Godslaughter, look at this. Boom! Kind of funny these two are partnering up given the way the story chapter, or the cutscenes played out, but hey. Now you'll see here, even his starting bonus because of how things work with his follow-up is great. The tricky thing with Vayne FR, I find, is the setup, because you want that burst effect going for maximum power. As you can see here, the follow-up goes, and then Yang goes because of how we burst effect then refresh Yang LD. That's important. It means Yang's follow-ups are going to be stronger on his, and it's going to do more damage on his turn because we're getting the bonus, the bigger bonus before the smaller bonus that he gives. But yeah, setup, it's kind of awkward because you kind of, ideally you want that burst phase so Vayne can have a bunch of turns to himself, right? Because basically every turn you want Vayne to be acting during force time. But you also want his follow-up active, so it's a little bit tricky to get them both set up. I think there are a few ways to do this. What I actually did for my first run was I didn't even touch the burst phase. I got the burst effect active, and I actually went into Ifrit to get the HP damage bonus from Hellfire. Once I got down to 6 turns, of course. And then I just used his LDs, because something I didn't think about when Vayne got his rework is he actually has LD buff start now, and that's actually huge for Vayne. Having played Vayne a lot, back in the day, back in Lufania Plus, you had to use his... Oh, we also have Rain's Call going, because of course we do. You had to use Vayne's LD at the beginning of the fight to get his LD buff active. And this means you only had 3 uses of his LD later in the fight. Now, with that buff start, that means he has 12 turns to muck about and save that extra use, which is huge for just kind of chaining turns together, because it gives you the free turns for getting rebreaks because it rebreaks and does a bunch of damage. It's really helpful for his longevity and his kind of general setup and effectiveness going forward. So I love that he has LD buff start, and it's a good 12 turns, so you can really play around with it. I mean, for Vayne, that isn't as long as most people because of all his free turns, but anyway, you'll see here. God, look at how hard that hits. It's Ultima level, baby. Ultima level. If you watched the live stream last night, you know what I mean by that. Yeah, you can see here the nice, good, chunky bonus. We're going to hit that Godslaughter last because it's the biggest hit we have. Godslaughter, look at this. They're throwing swords left and right. I was actually able to get the bonus up to 800. I know people, using like Scythe and stuff have gotten the bonus even higher. For some reason, it lands just shy this time around. I don't know. I guess like Young got one less turn or something. Or something happened weird. But anyway, it's going to be good damage on its own, just fine. Just check this out. Now the cool thing here is because we pushed Golbez below 20%, Young's Encounter, we have one turn. This is perfect. We have one turn left on our force time, right? Young's Encounter, because Golbez does his threshold, another threshold, and Young counters. The important thing is to get Raijin Call there so the debuff doesn't fall down. And now let's finish this off. We're out of force time. We're going to go ahead and go into summon. We have 8 turns on the clock. I guess this will be an 8-turn run because we're going to go ahead and Shuck Staff. Look at that, into the sky. So much damage. Charlotte is so good. But anyway, Vayne's also pretty good. I gotta say, 1 force time. One thing about this fight I should mention is that the enemies don't die during their force time. It's 8 turns long. So if you don't have a melee attack to counter, you want to kill them when they're you want to use your summon and burst phase to prevent them from getting their force time, unless you have like an all-turn team and can afford to let them take a bunch of turns. But that's lame. Anyway, I've covered the fight, and there we have it. That was fast. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed. God, Vayne feels really good to use now. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Adios.